Well, Craig, it's going to be an interesting year, I guess. And as we look at one of the things that I always think of and been thinking about lately since the so-called phase one is going to get done, and I'm not holding my breath, and I've been saying that from the beginning. I want to see it signed, sealed, and delivered. But is that going to impact anybody? I know in your report you talked a lot about corn and what's happening with corn. Maybe you can tell us about that. And if if you were going to plant corn and now the deal's done, you're going to plant soybean or vice versa. I mean, are there any things like that that some of our farmers need to be thinking about?
Well, I think so. I'm looking at the new crop corn. So it'd be December of 2020 corn futures. And we've had a fairly substantial rally. I think it's 15, 20 cents since mid-December that we've put on that market. And it's really based on the expectation that we're going to see this surge in Chinese business. I think in soybeans it was even more profound. I think it was a 55-cent rally, something like that, in the November 2020 soybean futures. So we're up at some price levels now that are fairly attractive. We've got December futures trading over $4, 403 on the last trade there, and it's probably not a bad spot to start making some sales for next year. And again, looking at November beans, I think kind of that 975 to 980 range is going to be an area where you're going to run into a lot of resistance. So if you're going to be planting some beans this coming spring, it probably doesn't hurt to maybe make a small incremental sale at this range, and hopefully that's your worst sale of the year. But the expectation is we're going to see acres up sharply on corn and strong bean acres as well. We've got a crop in Argentina and Brazil that's going to be coming online fairly soon here, and they're looking for a larger crop also. So, from the broader perspective, there could be a lot of pressure on this market just by the amount of grain that's looking for a home here next harvest.
So what would happen if China gets ready to sign this phase one and, do what they did last time they signed a deal, cross some things out and made some changes, and the president says, look, this is not what we agreed to, I'm not signing it. Are there going to be farmers out there that wish they had placed the sale?
I think so. I think that's actually a fairly logical outcome. I mean, China as a trading partner, at least from an agricultural perspective, has always been tough. I mean, they'll make deals and cancel deals, and it's always just been tough to work with. So I would not be a bit surprised to run into a roadblock on this deal yet. And if that were to happen, I would think that the rally we've seen here in the last 2-3 weeks could disappear pretty quickly.
Mm. Well, what about and you think corn is going to is holding up good now? You think that's going to continue, or is that also pegged to China as much as beans are?
I think that it's pegged maybe not as much as beans, but certainly I think if the Chinese deal fell apart, because we're really, as they looked at what it would take to get to that 40 to 50 billion, a large part of that was maybe was some ethanol exports over there. And so if that disappears, it kills some of that ethanol demand here in the U.S. And I do think it's all interrelated. Maybe not as strongly as soybeans, but I think if phase one fell apart, it would kind of knock corn futures on their butt as well for a bit here.
Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.